welcome to another Tonic Craft Kit unboxing video. Today's one is for kit number 52, and I think this kit is called the Country Apron. So as you can tell, it's a gorgeous little apron die set, which actually can make like a gorgeous little gift bag in the shape of an apron. But if you don't like your three-dimensional projects, then you can just use it as aprons to decorate your cards, your home decor items, your scrapbook pages, all sorts of different things. Even in your art journals as well, you can do little aprons. Actually, even if you knit little characters as well, if you do them in the right proportions, you could actually make them a paper apron. Or even if you've got like polycotton fabric that will cut with your thin edge dies, you could actually like cut out an actual apron shape as well with fabric. So let's have a look at what's inside this month's kit. So we've got our bag of Nouveau as usual, which has got, oh, there's one more in there. Lots of lovely goodies inside it. And you can see the kind of colour theme is very red with a bit of pink, some yellow and some blue. So I was finding bringing in other supplies that I have was helpful for this month's kit, because there's a lot of the same colour, and one of the cards that passed me will show you, I felt like it was too blending in with each other because I'd done it sort of very pink background, pink apron and stuff. So I definitely recommend bringing in bits and pieces from your stash as well to kind of mix up the colour scheme that's in here too. But you have a really lovely selection of different items that are in here as well. So all of this will work really nicely together with the papers too. But if you love to have a bit more contrast maybe, or just want to mix up the colour schemes, I think adding in a few bits and pieces from your stash is always great too. So let's have a look at the ribbon first. So the first thing we're getting is a spool of Chilli red ribbon, and it is the 5 metre length by 3mm width. So it's a lovely little narrow satin double-edged ribbon. I've got my opened one here. I do still keep the plastic around the edge of it to try and stop it from unravelling, but it's a really lovely, good quality ribbon from Tonic, and it doesn't fray too much either, if any at all. Like, okay, a tiddly bit. So you could use a little bit of fray check on there if you wanted to, but it really doesn't fray as much as Organza kind of ribbon. It's pretty good actually for not fraying. You could actually put a tiny little bit of your Nouveau deluxe adhesive on the end of it actually as well to help it not fray too, but it's pretty good about fraying. And it ties bows really nicely as well, and it lasts a long time. I've used this for lots of different projects, and I'm only just being able to see the cardboard that's on there as well. And for these little aprons, just using like a loop for the neck hole and also the little bits coming out the side of the aprons, you're really not going to go through more than like 30 centimetres per apron. So this would last you for at least like 16, 17 kind of aprons if you were going to use all of this for that kind of purpose. So that is the gorgeous Chilli red ribbon, and you're getting a full spool of 5 metres of that. Then next item, let's go with the shimmer powder. I don't think we've had a shimmer powder in a little while actually. This one is Catherine Wheel, which is the original red shimmer powder, and this one actually has gorgeous reds and golds in it as well. I'm not sure if you can tell from the swatch on there. I did use this on the card that passed me, will show you. I was actually experimenting with putting shimmer powder on top of the cotton handmade papers, and it worked quite nicely actually. And you can also do the technique where before I have shown it with spray inks, and you spray onto the cotton handmade papers and then print with it. But you could also make up some of this on your glass cutting mat just with some water and some of the powder, dip your cotton handmade paper into that to pick up some of the colour, and then use it as like a stamp on your project as well. You can do that kind of thing. You can mix this in with your Nouveau drops to change the colour. I was actually, for one of the cards that I'll show you, I sprinkled some on top of the wet Dream drops that I was using as well. You can also create gorgeous subtle backgrounds with this, or you can create really pigmented backgrounds with it as well. You can mix it in with the other products that we've got in here as well to change the colour of them. You can mix it in with like clear and white products that you might have as well, again to change the colour, and add a little bit of shimmer in there as well. And these really do go a long way. They last you a long time, which is fantastic, because you hardly use anything really. And you can also put a little bit out with a bit of water, paint with it, splat with it, all sorts of different things. So I love shimmer powders. They're really lovely, versatile kind of product, and you're getting a full-sized pot of this as well. So having a full-size one really is going to last you a nice long time. So that is the Catherine Wheel Nouveau Shimmer Powder. Then you're also getting Lemon Twist Nouveau drops, but I think you're only getting a mini one. I have got a full-sized one to show you, but I think you are only getting a mini one. If you do get a full-sized one, then it's bonus, but I think you're only getting a mini one of these. But I love the Lemon Twist one. This is like the second yellowy coloured one in the collection. The first one was the Gold Luxe, which was more of like, I'd say more of like a greeny gold, whereas this one has got pink mica to it. So this is more like of a pinky yellow. It's got a gorgeous pink tone to it, so it goes really nicely if you combine it with a little bit of that Catherine Wheel shimmer powder as well, because it's already got that kind of pink mica within it. So Dream Drops are fantastic. I've done a whole video or two or maybe even three on my channel showing you different ways of using it. They show up different colours on black and white surfaces. You can mix them with all sorts of different things. You can mix them with each other to create different effects. They come in a larger bottle normally. I think you are getting a mini one, but when you do buy them, they do come in a larger bottle, which is why they're more expensive. They're actually 40 mils, the large sizes, rather than 30. Because you can do so much with them. You can put them onto your spatula, scrape them through a stencil. If you're only getting a mini one, you'll probably just want to try out sort of using them as drops and maybe adding some shimmer powder to them as well. But they are a really lovely versatile drop if you ever want to try a full-sized bottle of them. Really nice colour as well with that lemon twist. So you're getting your mini Dream Drop in your kit. Then you're also getting this, which is a new configuration. This is actually a larger pot. This is 50 mils, whereas normally sequins are smaller pots, like either this size or this size when you get sequins from Tonic. They're usually in pots like this, but this one is a 50 ml pot, whereas these are only 35 or 25 mils. So this is a much larger pot, so we might be seeing more of these in the future. This lovely different design for the Nouveau Pure Sheen sequins. I'm not 100% sure, but this could be the new packaging maybe for 2022. But yeah, lovely selection of sequins in here. These are called Prism Pink, which actually remind me, they're not the same, but they remind me of the Pink Tutu sequins. They both have 3 sizes in them, but these are slightly different. They're a slightly thicker sequin, so they are slightly different. But let's show you the different sizes of these as well, and they come like this with the little sticky thing on the top. I know some people get annoyed that they stick to this sticky thing, but it actually you can use them off of here as well. You know, you don't have to chuck them, you can actually use them off of here, and it just means that they're, if they did open in transit, they're not going to be all over the place, which is quite nice to know that you're not going to have a load of sequins everywhere. I think there's just the 3 different sizes. There's usually 3 sizes, so those are the 3 sizes, and you can see they've got that kind of peachy colour to them, but they've got pink and it looks like yellow as well, reflections in them, so it goes really nicely with the reds and the yellows that we've got in the rest of this kit too. So lovely little sequins, and I love having the multiple sizes because it means you can really scatter them across your project, and you know, the differences in size makes it look just, I just feel like it looks better than all the same size. So I do love that we get those 3 different sizes in there, and this pot is going to last you a long time. So have a play with making shaker cards with sequins in as well, because why not when you've got this many to play with? If you think about, you only add maybe 3, 5, 7 sequins on a project, this is going to last you a long time. So definitely have a play with using them in shaker cards, and also the other technique that I was showing you quite a lot a few months back, where you can add glue all over wherever you want to add the sequins and then place them all down. And you do actually get, the next item is the some of the glitter accents, and you can actually put glitter accents down and stick sequins to it as well, and then you don't have to put excess glitter over the top to hide all the adhesive because it's already sparkly. So you can definitely combine these two that you're getting in this kit to create a background as well. And so the next product is the Nouveau Glitter Accents, which is in the Winter Cranberry colour. And I'm just checking to check that you definitely get a full-sized bottle of this. Yeah, it doesn't say you're getting a mini one. So a full-sized bottle of the Nouveau Glitter Accents. If you've tried in the past their Nouveau Glimmer Paste, I think the current glitter accents are more like the old formula of Glimmer Paste, so they will dry quicker than the newer formula of Glimmer Paste. Hopefully I'm not confusing anyone, but they are basically like Glimmer Paste, just in a bottle form with a finer snout on them, or spout on them, and this spout is actually larger than a Nouveau drop spout or the glue spout because of the larger particles of glitter in there. They've actually got a larger gauge nozzle on these bottles, but you can use glitter accents for all sorts of different applications. You can make Nouveau drops with them. They will be less of a perfect dome because they're not supposed to be self-leveling, and they will dry with a glittery texture because the substance or the substrate that they're in kind of shrinks away from the glitter as it dries. Or you can squirt them straight onto your palette knife and scrape them through a stencil just as you would with Glimmer Paste. You can create overall backgrounds with them, sort of scraping them all over a background, sprinkling different things into them to give different kinds of effects. You can combine them with more of your wet kind of Nouveau mediums. For example, you could get your Easy Clean Matte, you could sprinkle a load of your Nouveau Shimmer Powder on, spray a bit of water on, put some of this in and squish your card into it to get a different kind of effect as well. And you can also do three-dimensional like squiggles with this too. One of the cards that I'll show you, I was trying to make it very CRaFTi themed, and so I squeezed out like squiggles of this to kind of look as if it was sort of paint coming out of a tube or something. So you can definitely do sort of more three-dimensional things with this too, because it will dry with more dimension than a Nouveau drop would, because it doesn't do that self-leveling thing. So that is the Winter Cranberry Glitter Accents. Then we're also getting a full-sized Nouveau glitter marker, and this one is the Fired Brick colour. And again, I have a couple of videos on my channel showing different ways of how to use the Nouveau glitter markers, giving you a few like hints and tips on how you might want to use them. And they come in a packaging like this, and they also come with their nib empty, so there is a valve in here, and you have to push this down to break the seal to allow the ink to come out, and then your pen will have a gorgeous glittery nib to it that will write really nicely. And they are like pump action pens, so it should feed through nice and gradually, so as you're writing it should still keep feeding through into the nib. But if it ever doesn't, maybe you haven't used it for a while, or you've been storing them upright and the ink's kind of drained out of the nib or something, just give them another shake and press the nib down again to get that ink flowing back into it, and then they'll work absolutely perfectly. And Nouveau glitter markers are, I think they're one of like the overlooked products that Nouveau make, because they are so versatile. You can paint with them, you can colour directly with them, you can water them down and splatter with them, you can stamp with them, you can use them on their side like this and go like that over your stamps and actually stamp with them as well. So there's loads of different ways of using a glitter marker. You can even use them to tint different things as well, you know, sort of mix in with a white chalk mousse or a white crackle mousse or something. You could tint it with a glitter marker too. So really nice versatile kind of product for you to try. I love that we're getting so many different products for you to try in this month's kit as well. And talking of chalk mousses, we've actually got a mini little chalk mousse in one of the newest colours that has come out, and this one is the Delicate Blue. So it's a really lovely subtle blue colour, which I have used on one of the projects, so I will show you that up close how it's dried. But it dries with a really lovely matte kind of finish to it, with that sort of chalky effect. And you can see in there that beautiful blue colour that it gives as well. Very subtle kind of blue. Almost looks a little bit like toothpaste. That kind of a minty toothpastey, spearminty kind of colour, this one. But really, really subtle. And you can use the chalk mousses in any of the ways that you would use your normal mousses. Although you wouldn't want to add heat to it, I don't think. I think you'd probably want to use it more in a way that you would use a normal embellishment mousse, like thickly through a stencil, watering it down and painting with it, watering it down and splatting with it, using it to do like a squishy kind of background. You maybe wouldn't want to mix it with the red, but you could definitely do some kind of squishy background mixing it with the yellow dream drops in there as well, depending what kind of project you were doing. Or we do actually have some Cornflower blue cardstock in the Craft Perfect selection, and it looks really nice on top of there. It kind of picks up that texture of the Craft Perfect textured card as well. So you've got a mini little chalk mousse in this month's kit as well. And you might not have tried the chalk mousses yet, so it would be a nice little way for you to experiment, see if you like them. Although actually what I was saying about you might not want to mix it with red, it is such a subtle colour, you might be able to get away with mixing it with red and still having an actual red product to use. So I might try that for you and see if we can get away with it. So let's have a look at the cardstock that we're getting in this month's kit. We've actually got 12 different pieces in here as well. So the first one is their smooth 300 GSM ivory white cardstock. So it's that slightly off-white but not cream kind of colour. It's just a magnolia-y kind of a colour of cardstock. So we've got that lovely 300 GSM, so nice and thick if you wanted to do a load of Nouveau stuff onto it and then cut it out, or cut it out first for the apron box and then do a load of Nouveau on it. This would really withstand all of that. Then we have 3 sheets of their classic textured cardstock, which have the texture on one side and then they're all smooth on the other side, if you can see the third colour there. And these are in Cornflower blue, coral pink, and then also cherry red as well. And even though the cherry red, even though we've got cherry red rather than chili red, it still goes really nicely with the ribbon. It's not too much of a different colour, and it actually goes nicely with the satin mirror card that we're getting in here, which is the Scarlet Organza. That satin ribbon goes absolutely perfectly with that Scarlet Organza as well. Then we have got 2 sheets of their pearlescent cardstock. So we've got Ivory Sheen and Princess Pink, and their pearlescent cardstock is double-sided, so it's got that gorgeous pearlescent finish on it, and it's on both sides. So it's great for well, like gift bag kind of things where you'd see the inside and the outside. If you didn't want to line the inside, you'd still have that gorgeous pearlescent finish showing. And this yellow, the Ivory Sheen, goes really nicely with the Lemon Twist Dream Drop as well. And the pinks go really nicely with the sort of pink sequins as well. So we've got those 2 sheets of pearlescent cardstock. Then we have the specialty paper, which is called Pink Petals, and this is the one that I was using some of the shimmer powders on, and you could definitely do that stamping technique with this as well. I've used this pattern of cotton handmade paper in the past with spray inks and stuff, works really nicely. And actually you can also turn your shimmer powders into spray inks. You can just tip some into a small little spray bottle and top it up with some distilled or deionized water, and then actually use it to spray with. Just make sure it's really well combined so you're not sucking up clumps of the undissolved kind of mica-y and dye-based powders up your uptake tube. But you can definitely make spray inks out of that as well, and use that to sort of colorise your papers, or to use your papers as like a texture plate and then, you know, like print from them as well. So we've got that piece of paper, which is white on the back actually, so this side will probably work better for taking a print off of it because it's got that pearlescent finish. The inks aren't going to soak into it as much, but if you just wanted to colour it and turn it into a red kind of paper, or maybe use some of your mousse and turn it into a light blue version, the back is probably better because it will suck it in a little bit more because it hasn't got the coating on the front. So you can definitely give that a try using both different sides of it. Then we have one of their luxury embossed cardstocks, and this one is the powder blue lace, which is really lovely. I really like this one, and it's almost got like etched sort of feel to it as well actually, and the way that the sort of texture within the flowers is in different directions. It means it catches the light almost like a prism or like holographic kind of card almost. It sort of catches it at different times, which gives it that almost holographic kind of feel to it, which is lovely. Then we have a sheet of glitter card, and this one is gold dust. So normally, or recently, we've had, when we've had gold glitter card, it's always been the Welsh gold, but this one is the gold dust, which is much more of like a bright yellowy gold kind of a colour rather than slightly more subdued. So really lovely bright gold colour. And then we finally have 2 sheets of patterned paper. They are both exactly the same, so they're both double-sided and the same, but one side has got this gorgeous light pink with a slightly darker dusky pink polka dot on there, and then the other one has got like a ditzy floral kind of pattern with blue foliage and red almost poppy kind of like flowers actually as well, and then some really sort of pale pink details on there too. So you've got those 2 patterned papers to use, and I think I didn't actually use it for the apron, but I think this side would work really nicely for like a farmhouse sort of apron. I did use this side for the apron though, that works really nicely as well, the polka dots, but this would give a lovely sort of ditzy floral kind of apron as well. So those are all of the 12 A4 sheets of paper that we're getting, or cardstock as well actually, in this month's kit. And actually, while we're here, before I move on to the actual stamps and dies, let's have a look and see if we can mix the chalk mousse, the blue chalk mousse, with the red shimmer powder to create an actual red chalk mousse that we could actually use. I'm curious to see if this is going to work or whether the blue is going to impact it, but I think it's such a pale colour, I think we could definitely get away with it. Actually, it's not toothpaste that's reminding me of, it's blue tack. It's like almost the exact colour of blue tack. So, but I think it's a very pale blue, so I do think we could probably add some red to it and change the colour of it. So that's just like a few little taps of the red Catherine Wheel shimmer powder, and because this is quite a wet kind of mousse, it will mix really nicely actually, because it's actually toning it's not toning it, it's activating the dye powder that's in there, which is the red colour. That actually looks really nice. I was kind of mesmerised by that. It's kind of given like a dusty rose kind of colour. Well, I'm kind of gutted I didn't try that sooner. That actually does work. So there we go. Even though that is a blue chalk mousse and blue and red. Well, I suppose they would make purple, wouldn't they? But it was a very light blue compared to the red, so it does actually work really nicely. That makes a gorgeous dusty rose kind of colour. So there we go. If you want to create a different chalk mousse colour, add a little bit of your Catherine Wheel shimmer powder to it, and you can turn it into a lovely dusty rose kind of colour. I don't think there is that one that colour in the collection of them so far, so there we go. A lovely different colour that you can actually try. So I'm glad I tried that. So back in 1 second to show you the stamps and dies. So here are the stamps and dies. We've got our lovely A5 die set. It doesn't come on a magnetic sheet, it comes on the 2 sheets of acetate, but I've just put mine on a A5 magnetic sheet to keep it nicely in my folder. And you can see you've got a gorgeous apron shape here, but you've also got other elements to add onto the apron, and you also have this piece here which actually turns the apron into like a little gift bag, and then you've got different elements to decorate it. You can actually make it into a gardening apron, a tool apron, so you can have like the hammer and the screwdriver and stuff. You can turn it into a baking apron, it can be a crafting apron, it can be a chef's apron, a barbecue apron as well, and I'm sure there's other variations that you can think of for this too. And you also have different variations for pockets and stuff as well, because you know a lot of I think it's more like tall aprons. They have the 2 small pockets on the front of them, whereas if it's more like a country kitchen apron for baking and stuff, you usually have like 1 bigger pocket on the front, which you can make semicircular with these ones, or you can actually use the side panel decoration and turn it into an actual square pocket as well. So there's loads of versatility with all the bits and pieces in here, and I also think you can definitely bring in lots of different bits and pieces from your stash, whether it is your Tonic stash or like old magazine freebies and stuff like that, that might have other bits and pieces on that you can turn this into different hobbies for as well. I mean, you could probably even turn it into like a veterinary kind of apron, or maybe even a hospital apron. I know they're usually like plastic, but you could probably turn it into something like that as well. Or what else would require an apron? A butcher's apron? I don't think you have, no, you don't have like one of those large knives to be a butcher's apron, but if you had other bits and pieces that went with that, you could turn it into that. You could also just bring in different bits and pieces or different pens and stuff that you have, or maybe even stamps, and create different patterns on them for different people in your life as well. You know, you could do hearts all over it, you could do flowers all over it, you could do foliage all over it, you could do a stripy pattern, maybe you could mimic a pattern from a designer that somebody likes, or print out a pattern from a designer and then use your dies to cut out that pattern as well. So I think there's loads of different ways you can personalise your aprons too, not just using the bits and pieces that are in here, but also you know, finding other bits and pieces that will really personalise it to your recipient as well. So let's have a look at the die set first. So the main pieces to create your apron gift box, if you want to create the apron gift box, is you will need 2 of these side pieces, if I could pick it up, 2 of the side panels like this, and 2 or 4 of these. You only need 2 to make the box, but I was actually using 4 on both of mine so that I sandwiched the glue tabs between the 2 aprons so that it was nice and strong and sturdy. So you can either do 2 of these and 2 of these, or you can do 2 of these and 4 of these to create an even stronger apron. And the way you put it together is this short side goes up the side of the apron, and then the long side comes around to the bottom, and you'll see that the long side only has 1 glue tab, because when you stick both of these together, you stick them via this long rectangle here, which will put the other glue tab on the other side for you and give you your second side to go up the other side of the apron box as well. And this is just a little quick glimpse of what the apron box looks like when it's put together. So that is like the main make for this die set, but obviously you don't have to use the side panels. You can just make this an apron on your card as well. So I did that on one of the ones that passed me will show you, and I've done it again on one of the ones that I'll show you in a second as well. So you've got the gorgeous apron. It already has the holes in there for you, and you can either use your ribbon from your kit to create the loop for the neck and add your little tails on the side, or you can actually use this die that's in here as well, which I think is really nice for creating a sturdy handle on there. And the way I did this, so I've done 2 gift boxes. The one that passed me will show you. I cut 4 of these and did them back to back on the 2 sides of each of the gift bag, and then the one that I'll show you in a second, I actually just used string through there as well. So you can definitely mix up whether you want to use like all die cut stuff, or whether you want to add in a little bit of difference with the ribbon or some baker's twine as well. But I love that you get that, and you could actually use this to turn maybe this into a little handbag or a shopping bag, or maybe this into like a scalloped handbag or shopping bag as well. So this is just like a lovely little handle to have for different items as well, not just the neck piece of the apron. Then you also have the decorative panel that goes up the side of the apron box that you can use either solidly or with the diagonal stripe pattern on there as well. Or you can use this to create a rectangular pocket for your apron. So you can have the apron there and have a rectangular pocket, which looks, you know, very much like well, maybe slightly more of a masculine cooking or chef kind of apron. Or you also have the dies to turn this into a semicircular frilly kind of pocket with the scalloped edge to it, so it gives it slightly more of a feminine feel with that frilly sort of edge design. And you also have a second layer so that you can layer up another colour onto there as well. You could do something specialty, then more of a plain card, and then you could stamp your sentiment onto there as well. So you can turn it into slightly more of a feminine looking one with that kind of pocket, or you can actually mix it up even more and use these kind of pockets to have two smaller pockets on your apron. And again, they can be slightly more feminine using the scalloped sort of edge to them, and you can layer it up again. Or you could just use the interior bit, which has a little bit of stitching around it, which is what I used on my two-pocketed apron because I made it more masculine. But you could also make this a top pocket up here and not have a bottom pocket, or have that as a top pocket and then do this as a bottom pocket as well if you wanted to. So you really can like mix and match where you want all of your pockets to be, how many pockets you want, what configuration you want them to be in as well, to make it look different from project to project. And then to so those are like all of the pocket options, but to decorate the actual apron in different ways, this looks fantastic cut out of the patterned papers or the specialty papers that you're getting in the kit. But you can also add this piece on to make it look a lot more frilly and decorative, which has got like a scalloped inset kind of piece to it with little dots in there as well. So it's got like little debossy dot details too, and you can either use that in conjunction with the main outside of the apron, or you do also have an outside cutting edge as well, which you would have to cut them both individually, but you could have both of these together and layer that on top of the main apron as well. And then also to go with that outside edge, you also have the stripy pattern, which gives you that typical kind of butcher's apron, or is basically like the kind of apron we used to use at school in food tech. I think maybe the stripes were vertical rather than diagonal, but it gives you like that generic kind of looking apron. And if you wanted to take it further as well, you could actually cut it in multiple different colours and paper piece back in the stripes and give it a completely different look that way as well. So those are like all of the basics of the apron and the different bits and pieces of how you could build up the apron. And then everything that's left here are all of the different hobbies, I suppose, or uses that you can like make the apron for. So you've got lovely little flowers here, which are like outline flowers that also have the bubble to go around them. So they could just be just decorating the card, not just having to be, you know, personalising the apron. Or you can actually cut multiples of them and stick them all over the apron and give it a florally flowery pattern. Again, the same with the hearts as well. They could just be scattered across the card, or you could use them to create a pattern on the apron. Maybe it's somebody going for a chef's exam or something, or a baking GCSE or something like that. You could actually use the hearts to create 4-leaf clovers all over the apron and give it a sort of good luck sort of theme as well. So lots of different uses for those little dies. And then I think now everything else is for like the hobbies or the occasions, or, you know, style of apron that they could represent. So you've got two oven gloves, and they are the opposite of each other, so you can have both hands coming off of the apron, or if you wanted to create some more movement and have things flowing around, you could actually stick them back to back because they are like symmetrical to each other. So you could then sandwich like a piece of ribbon or string between them and have them dangling off your project. You have got a wooden spoon, which could be used for a few different hobbies. You've got a little metal fork, which could be for a barbecuer. It could just be for a chef as well. It could be for someone who loves their fish and chips, and you could turn it into a wooden bamboo fork as well. You've got a little screwdriver, which I actually cut the this out of silver and red, and then cut off the red bit as the handle and stuck it back on top. You've got a dinky little pair of scissors, which I also think these would work really nicely with the So Happy showcase that came out recently as well. You could actually use these with that haberdashery kind of feel too, or bring in some of those bits and pieces to turn this into a sewing apron. That would work really nicely. You've got this gorgeous little selection of different foliage, which again, it's both kind of handedness of them, and then you've got a couple of different flowers as well. You've got more like a daisy one and a little tulip. Then you've got a spatula, which could be for a baker, it could be for a barbecuer. I'm sure there's other different occasions or hobbies that could be for as well. You've got a whisk here too, so that again can be for a baker. You've got tongs, which can be for a chef or for someone who loves barbecuing. You've got a garden fork, and you also have a trowel as well, so that will work perfectly for anybody who loves gardening. You've got a rolling pin, you have got a baking spatula that's like more of one of those silicone kind of ones. You've got this kind of sort of spatula thing without the holes in. You've got more of like a flat, I think you'd still call that a spatula, a flat kind of spatula. You have got a spanner as well. And then you've also got a hammer too. So you've got so many different little elements that can turn this into all sorts of different occasions for your apron as well. And definitely, if you didn't already get it, have a look at that So Happy showcase as well, because I think that would combine really nicely and turn this into like a haberdashery kind of apron as well. And I'm sure there are multiple other showcases, kits, designers' choices and stamp clubs that you could combine with this to turn it into different occasions as well. So, as well as all of those dies, the little stamp set that we're getting in this month's kit, let me get a piece of card so you can see it, is mostly sentiments, but there are a few extras in here, like the two little florals, which are very similar to the dies. I don't know if they will coordinate actually, they might do. You know, I think they might actually cut them out. I think they actually would. So have a go with that. I think they would cut those out. I think they're exactly the same. So you could actually die cut that foliage out as well, or stamp onto your little die cuts too. So you've got those that will coordinate. Or you can just stamp these directly onto your apron as well. You've got little flowers, again, to build up like a floral pattern on your apron, and then colour it in, or you could combine them with these flowers as well, because they've given you them same number of petals and like a rounded one and a pointy one in both, so that you can sort of mix them together. And then I think everything else is just some gorgeous sentiments. So you've got Baked with Love to go with like a baking themed apron. You've got Thanks a Bunch to go with more of like a gardening apron. Happy Mother's Day, so then obviously that can go with any kind of hobby that your mum might have. You've got Just for You, Grandma's Kitchen, From the Kitchen of, so you can write their name. Your Special Day, Happy Father's Day as well, because you can do like barbecuing and tools and stuff. From the Garden of, and you can write their name, and then It's Your Day as a lovely little sentiment on there as well. So loads of little accessories or small sentiments that can really mix up what the apron is used for too. So I'll put all of these away and I'll be back in a second to show you the extra 3 samples that I made. So the first of the extra samples I've got to show you is an actual like little gift bag using all of the different elements from the die set, using this gorgeous stripy pattern. Now that I think of it, because I made it glittery, it kind of looks a little bit Christmassy. It looks a little bit like candy cane. But I wanted to show you a different version of the bag as well, because the other bag that past me will show you in a minute, I used the die to create the top loops, and I also used blues to create that, and I did a bit of stamping and used some luxury card and stuff on it as well. But this one is more kind of like geared towards someone who loves barbecues, because you've got the tongs here and the spatulas and the fork and stuff, and then I've also done little black oven mitts as well. And I have doubled the inside of them, so when I've put the sides up, I've then sandwiched a second one in here to hide where I've added the string to the top portions, and also to hide any of the glue tabs, and just make it really nice and strong. So it's now got a double base, a double front and a double back, so it's really not going to go anywhere. It's going to stay really nicely together. And actually another way of tying this gift bag together would be to not put separate strings on each side of it, but to come through from the front all the way around to the back, back through to the front, and then pull this taut and tie a bow between it would be another way of kind of adding or securing the top of the gift bag as well, if you wanted whatever the contents was maybe to stay inside a little bit more. Maybe it's bigger than these gaps here, so you could actually tie it together like that to hold it in. So that's another one of the little gift bags that it creates, and I'll give you the sizes as well. So the width is 1.25 inches, which is just less than 4 centimetres. So that is the width of this, and then this way the base portion is 3 1/8, which is about 8 centimetres, so it's 8 centimetres this way, and then the height is 4.5 inches, which is about 11.5 centimetres. So it's a really decent kind of sized little apron here as well. So yeah, really cute, dinky little gift bag or box, or you know, whatever you want to use it for, but I think it would fit quite a decent amount of bits and pieces in there as well. You could put in some of your Nouveau goodies if you wanted to gift them to somebody, or you could put miniature bottles of alcohol, talcum powder, bath salts, a bar of soap, you know, all sorts of kind of things in there. You could theme it towards whatever's in or on the apron as well, actually. It could be like maybe a bottle of ketchup or barbecue sauce for someone who loves barbecuing. I reckon lots of different things would fit inside this, and it would be a nice little vessel to give someone a gift in. So I did that one as a little extra one because I just wanted to show one more of how to do it, and it's really simple to put together. That's why I didn't do a construction, because it is literally just sticking the two bases together along this longer rectangle, and then the way I was putting it together is I stuck this long side to the bottom of the front first, and then I pulled the two side pieces up, and then when I had that piece made, I put my extra one in here to hide all of the glue tabs. Then I came and did the exact same thing on the other side, securing it on, and then the more trickier one to get in is to kind of put the second one in there and squidge it against there. But if you put wet glue over the top of your double-sided tape, it makes it much easier to manoeuvre it into there. But you don't have to do the doubling up of the sides if you didn't want to. It just makes it a bit sturdier if you were putting a heavier gift inside there as well. So that is the gorgeous little apron gift box that it creates. But I also wanted to show how you could turn it into a little card blank as well. So it doesn't just have to be a gift box or an apron to go on the front of a card. It could actually be a card itself, and you could actually make a set of these and put them into an apron box too. So depending what you made them for, maybe they're vouchers to give somebody for, I'll go shopping to buy you all the stuff to do a barbecue, or you know, something like that. Or maybe actually just cut pieces and use it as a shopping list thing as well. Actually, you could cut a load of copier paper or printer paper or lined paper and have them as little aprons that are inside the apron box, and you can just pull one out and write your shopping list on it. So there's lots of different ways of utilising that little apron gift box. But this one I just wanted to do, I've left it really messy on the inside, but I wanted to do like a little tall kind of apron, because I've done a flower sort of gardening one. What else did I do on the other one? I did a grandma's kitchen one, I think, and then I've done a barbecue one, a tall one, and then I've also done a crafters one that I'll show you in a second as well. So this one I did the two little pockets. I used the tiny little sentiment "It's Your Day," and I also stamped that in the background in a light brown ink colour onto this brown cardstock, and then I've used the spanner, the hammer and the screwdriver as my little elements on there. So really simple kind of card, but you could also make small little cards like this to give to somebody, and they could just be little note cards. So it could be like just to say, or you know, thank you, something like that. You could actually make a whole set of these and give that to somebody too as a gift. And then this is my favourite card that I've done. So there are a few non-tonic things on here just because I really needed them to sort of make it what I wanted it to be. So these little ink pad stamps and tubes of paint stamps, they were on a magazine freebie from a little while ago that wasn't Tonic. It was a creative stamping magazine, so you might already have that in your stash actually. But I just wanted to do a really cool wacky crafters apron, and I thought adding it onto an action wobbler as well would be perfect. So this is one of those little action wobblers that you can buy, and I just thought it'd be perfect to put a little crazy apron on here. And I did a really messy wacky background using lots of the Nouveau items from the kit. So this was doing squiggles of that glitter accents, and then I just put one of the stamped little tubes of paint on the end of it. I did swirls with my glitter marker, I splattered with some of the shimmer powder, and then I also it's kind of hidden, that's why I wanted to do it on action wobbler, so that you could still see some of the other elements. I used my Dream Drop to draw blobs or splats onto the background, and then I tapped in some of the shimmer powder, so some of the colour from the shimmer powder is like burst into the Dream Drops, which I thought looks really lovely. So I just did a really wacky messy background and then just added that cute little apron on top, and I cut the apron from the Cornflower blue cardstock and then used a little bit of the chalk mousse on top of it, just to add, so it looks like, you know, it's a little bit painty, or like you've got gesso down your apron or something. And I just used my little Dymo labeler to do the thank you sentiment, and I also brought in the scissors for a crafter's apron as well. But I just thought it worked so nicely to make a crafter's apron, so I just could not resist doing that. So I'll pass you over to Past Me to show you the extra samples that I've already made as well. So these are the two samples that I have done. Hopefully you will have just seen more samples as well, and not just these two. I have more ideas, I just didn't have enough time to do them as I'm filming this little clip, so hopefully you will see a few more ideas. But I wanted to try and use as much from the kit as I could, so I've used the patterned paper, one of the normal cardstocks, the pearlescent cardstock, the cotton handmade paper with shimmer powder on, and the ribbon on here as well. So I've been trying to use, you know, a lot of the different bits and pieces. I do feel like maybe this card would have looked better if the apron was just on a white background rather than this handmade paper. But as I said, I wanted to try and use lots of the bits and pieces from the kit, but hopefully I'll have given you some more ideas previous to these two as well. But I really love this little apron, it's really sweet, and I've just stamped Grandma's Kitchen onto the pocket of the apron for this one, and I've used the frilly kind of pocket with the frilly die to do like the frilly sort of details, and I think it goes really nicely with the spotty paper as well. And because that spotty paper is a very regimented kind of pattern, look how perfectly it kind of lines up. That spot's in the middle, and then it's really nice. It's really satisfying that you can actually cut it to kind of go like that, which is nice. And then I've just used the, as I said, the Grandma's Kitchen on the pocket, but as the actual sentiment I've done Your Special Day. And then I was going to, the reason why these are out of cream card, all the utensils, I was going to colour them. I was going to do like, you know, a coloured handle and then a metallic end, not for the spoon, but for the whisk and stuff. I was going to do like a coloured handle and a metallic end and make these wooden spoons, and maybe make this a silicone spatula with a coloured handle. But I actually, because it was so busy and full of pinks and stuff, I felt like the cream actually stood out quite nicely, so I just left them in the cream colour. So you could definitely colour those if you want to, and I'm hopefully, if I showed you some samples previously, hopefully I will have done some coloured ones on those as well, so you will have been able to see that. I also poked in the little oven mitt on there as well, and I put a little heart on there, as well as using the ribbon for the ties for the back of the apron and for the neck loop. I also just tied a little bow from that gorgeous 3mm double-edged satin ribbon as well to go on the pocket to sort of tie the red all over the card. And the background is using the Catherine Mills shimmer powder onto the cotton handmade paper, and you'll see in the sped up video how beautiful that looks. It kind of seeps down into the crevices of the embossed pattern and looks really lovely. So that's the card that I've done. And then I've done one of the little apron gift boxes, because you can just use the apron like this. You also get the side panel that gives you the side and a bottom piece to turn this into like a three-dimensional apron. And hopefully I will have already shown you making a little card to go inside this as well, and a couple of different options of different ways to decorate it as well, because you get all the bits and pieces to do different styles of aprons too. But for this one I went with the luxury embossed card on the outside, and then I've used again from Cream the little flowers and the little foliage pieces to kind of make an overall pattern on it. I decided to use the rectangle die that's actually designed to decorate the edges or the sides of this little box, but I used it as the pocket. So you've actually got 3 different options for different styles of pockets in the die set. And then I've accented with the gold glitter card. So I've done Thanks a Bunch as the sentiment, and I've layered it onto some gold mirror card. So I've used the Thanks a Bunch as a sentiment, and I've layered it onto some gold glitter card, and then I've also added on some glitter card hearts as well, and used the glitter card to do the little neck loop at the top. Instead of using real ribbon, you can use the actual die, but you could also use real ribbon and use it as a closure mechanism as well. So you could actually maybe go through from the back, so the tails are through the front, and then go through the back, make a loop, and then tie this portion in a bow at the front to kind of fasten it, and then that would be a really cool closure for your little gift box as well. It probably would have made more sense to use this on the card and this on here, but the colourway that I was doing, I didn't want red to be the ribbon on this one, and I wanted the ribbon on this one. So but you could actually have used the ribbon for the tails on here and die cut this from the red satin card and put that on there as well. So there's lots of different ways of adding the little neck loop to the apron, whether you want to do it as ribbon or as the little die as well. But I also think this little die is going to be very useful for cards for like people who like shopping and stuff, because you could make a little any size kind of little shopping bag, maybe even add a shop name on there as well, and then you could actually have the little handles on there too, which would be quite cute. So you could obviously use that in different areas as well. And then for the inside of this one, I wanted to use the matte chalk mousse, so I actually splattered all of the inside pieces because I decided to double this one. So the tabs that are on the side and the bottom are hidden, other than one, because I didn't really think about it. One of them's not hidden down there, but the rest of them are hidden between the 2 pieces, so that, you know, it's nice and sturdy, but also you can't see the glue tabs down the sides here as well. They're hidden between the luxury embossed card and then the Craft Perfect textured card that I've splattered the mousse on and then stamped the Thanks a Bunch onto as well. So a really sweet little apron gift box, and I have got a few more ideas for that, so hopefully you will have already seen them or you'll see them after this clip. But yeah, hopefully there will be a few more examples for you as well. So I'll pass you back to future me to finish off the video. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the other samples that Past Me just showed you, and I hope you enjoyed these little extra bits of inspiration, and I hope it's maybe nudged something in your brain of a different hobby or activity that you could turn this apron into as well. I think there's just so many possibilities that you could use it for. Maybe even if you had the Campfire Critters stamp club and you know someone who loves going fishing, you could turn it into like a fishing apron, and you could use that fishing rod from that stamp set, or you could use that gorgeous little squirrel stamp from that set to stamp squirrels all over the apron and turn it into a squirrel themed fabric pattern for someone who loves squirrels. You know, there's so many different ways that you can turn an apron into a different hobby or make it somebody else's style as well. You can really personalise them, and you know, even if it's something wacky that nobody else has a hobby of doing, you know, you can definitely find something in your stash to turn an apron into something perfect for the recipient as well. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're interested in getting this kit, there'll be affiliate links below the video for you to get hold of either the one-off kit, or you can subscribe monthly, or you can do quarterly subscriptions as well. So thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for the sped up video that will hopefully be out tomorrow, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye!